Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Up Supercast Game Club. My name is Brandon, and I am your host. And joining me today, I have Ills.
A monster? What are you talking about? Anyway.
And I have Noah.
You're a real man?
Good voice acting, guys. And by good, I mean terrible.
I did my best.
Well, you did. Yeah, I'll tell you what. You did better than the people who did the voice acting for the game that we played.
I honored the game. The only way I knew how.
And we played Deep Fear this time around. Deep Fear was released for the SEGA Saturn, only in Japan and Europe. So we never got this game in North America. It was
so many tears streaming down my face right now.
Yeah.
It was developed by Sega R&D, and published by Sega as well. In fact, this was the last game put on the released on the Sega Saturn in Europe, not in Japan, but it was the last Sega Saturn game released in Europe.
Kill the Saturn.
Yeah. What a way to go out. It was going to be released seemingly in North America. We don't know for sure, but the game was recorded, basically made all in English. Obviously as in the European version, and was seemingly ready to just be released in North America, but I think Sega probably realized it wasn't worth it because the Saturn was doing very bad. And it just wasn't worth it.
Dreamcast was coming, so
the Dreamcast wasn't too far out because this game was released in 1998. So it wasn't too far out from the Dreamcast, and they're like, what's the point? So we never got it in America. And like Il said, we're all real sad about it.
Torn up.
Noah, so you picked this game.
I did.
Why don't you tell us why you picked this game first?
Yeah, why don't you tell us why?
Well, I randomly came across a trailer. I was looking for like horror games, and I came across this trailer, and I saw it, and I was just like, I was immediately captured and intrigued by it. So I had to play it.
I can see that because the cutscenes in this game are fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
I mean, the faces are just so bad. It's like, oh, what a time. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Sega Saturn.
It was definitely it's definitely a relic of its own time. That's for sure, looking at it. Because it hits all the check marks of that early 3D. You have these, CG cutscenes that are just awful in terms of the animation. And character models, and then you have voice acting that is just abysmal.
It was during the era where voice acting was like, I don't know, for some reason most video games had like horrible voice acting.
I think it was a thing that voice acting was still it's been around for a little while in games at this point, but I think it wasn't taken as serious, obviously, as it is now, right?
Yeah, so, the medium was probably too young to attract any serious actors.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
they didn't get real actors to do this. It was probably just people, just.
Well, now I gotta check something out because Legacy of Kain was a PS1 game, and that had amazing voice acting.
It did it did actually.
So, damn, what the hell?
I guess it just depends on the company,
Yeah.
Of who's, because maybe some people were starting to take it serious and actually hired some people who were actually trained in acting even a little bit, because it seems like this is just one of those games that they just, I don't know if they just fucking had their own programmers do it, or what. But,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like every team just had did their own voice acting, probably to save money, which I assume I don't even know how much it is to hire a voice actor and such, but They probably just did it on their own, and some people were decent at it, some people were absolute garbage.
And these people were definitely absolute garbage.
Yeah, and more often than not, it's just one person doing 5 different voices.
Yeah.
And all 5 of them are equally bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'd put this up there. I'd put this up there with, like, House of the Dead 2.
Oh yeah,
in terms
like,
of
this is Resident Evil 1, House of the Dead 2 like levels.
This makes Resident Evil 1 look good almost in terms of voice acting.
Yeah, I mean, compared to this, I mean, and there's obviously a lot of comparisons to make to Resident Evil 1, but like just on the voice acting front, oh my god, like it makes it sound like it's an Oscar-winning performance.
Yeah, for real. Jill Sandwich is a line that'll hit you hard after hearing this fucking.
You'll be in tears.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that it's very Resident Evil-like, and I mean that's pretty much what this game is. I mean, it's a Resident Evil clone.
It's their own take on the Resident Evil series. Yeah.
Yeah, they basically made this game to compete with Resident Evil.
Right, exactly. It was at the time I've seen like stuff that was saying, you know, I've looked back and did a little research on this game. People were saying, "Oh, this is going to be the Resident Evil killer." Well, yeah, no.
I mean, like, I feel like I would have had like a different reaction to it if I played it back when it came out. But like playing it now, like it definitely did not age well at all.
Yeah, I want to talk about that like a little bit later. But speaking of like a Resident Evil killer, like this game did nothing, and Resident Evil has been around for 20 years, so they didn't do anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
They failed.
Yeah. Because, you know, Resident Evil kept going, went on to big things. I mean, it's one of the best-selling franchises.
Best-selling Capcom franchise, best-selling video game movie franchise.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean much.
Resident Evil's huge.
I mean,
yeah, but Resident Evil's huge. There's no denying that, you know, and this game just had one. It was a one and done. You know, it definitely didn't live up to Resident Evil at all. But it clearly, playing this game was it trying... You know, the developers were definitely trying to go in that direction and compete with Resident Evil in the same style. Because you even have the tank light controls, pre-rendered backgrounds,
you got
the fixed camera angles.
The fucking camera angles.
Yeah. So all that's there. All that is there. It's very much, you know, you could take a picture of this game and be like, hey, this is a Resident Evil like spin-off, and people would believe you, you know, because that's how much it looks like it. It's basically Resident Evil underwater. Because if the title didn't give it away, Deep Fear takes place in the ocean, specifically on
the big table.
The big table. It's an underwater facility. It's a research facility. And
it's like supposed to be like a submarine fueling station that the U.S. made to, you know, compete with the Soviets in the Cold War. This is a whole backstory that's in the game. It's not important.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of different companies that are now using it for different things.
Yeah.
And in the game, you play as John Mayer, not to be confused
the Grammy Award-winning singer.
Yeah, exactly. Not to be confused with the actual guy, John Mayer, that we all might know and love. But he plays a jabroni named John Mayer. He was an actual ex-Navy SEAL who joined. He's now part of the ERS, the Emergency Rescue Service, and he works on the. He just works at the big table. He goes there to investigate. There was a spaceship that crash landed in the ocean. Like a capsule, you know, like that came back from space, and in that capsule was a chimp who.
Well, we don't learn this until way later on.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, felt like it was the most obvious thing in the universe to me, but yeah, there's a chimpanzee on the ship. So there is other people on not ship. It's just the facility, but it's on the big table, there's a whole bunch of other humans that are working there as well. And early on, you find that there's people mutating on the ship. What I keep calling a ship. But there's people mutating there, and they're turning into these monsters. And Yeah, I mean, you're stuck there. You're isolated on the big table with all these mutated people, and you're.
It's
trying to
super
survive.
hard. It's hard to like get a sense of the time frame. Like I have no idea when the ship pod land, like the spaceship thing crashed, and when John Mayer is there. Like,
Right.
what's the time frame there? They never really clarify if that's like the next day, the next week, something like that. But it's very unclear, and then the infections just start happening like almost like it's insane. It happens like so rapidly,
Super fast,
like
yeah.
that.
That's
yeah.
what they say. It's like basically it's like a parasite / thing that takes over the body in the matter of hours.
Yeah, but I mean, like it happens first on like a different ship that you go to, and then
Right.
I guess you bring it back to your ship because you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, well, nobody knew, so.
It's weird playing this game in like the time of pandemic. You're like, oh man, these guys are fucking morons.
Yeah.
Everybody here is a goddamn idiot. Nobody's taking precautions at all.
Nope, they're not. They're going off by themselves. They're don't seem as concerned as they should be a lot of times.
Well,
The
I feel
crate-
like they weren't really aware of what was going on. Only like the researcher was figuring out while it was happening what was going on as well.
Well, that's insane. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't she tell anybody else then? And like,
Yeah.
why didn't the commander tell anybody else then? And even if he did, like, nobody was concerned about the transmission of this thing. Like, nobody
that's
cared.
Exactly what I was saying. Nobody seemed concerned at all.
They were like, oh, I mean, this thing is happening. We don't know why. We're not going to really test that.
Yeah, they just kept going on about their business as if like. It was
Yeah, in
like,
the first
yo,
part, yeah. Well, I mean, the guy was like what? It was quoted. What do you mean, monsters? What do you mean? Anyway, just keep
Yeah,
going, like,
anyway.
Yeah, nobody believed John. He tried to tell people, and they're just like, yeah, whatever.
I like the idea that it's like you're like it's happening around you as you like going through the game. Like in the beginning, it's nice and safe, and then it like just fucking becomes like dangerous, and everything's like happening around you like real time.
Yeah, I like that too.
Because and as silly as like a good pacing on like except for like the actual mutations in the bodies, but
Yeah, I mean,
Like
that
the-
is cool because usually you don't get to see that a lot of
Yeah.
times. It's already, the zombie outbreak.
you're already like in the
happened.
middle of the thick of it, and like shit's gone down, and you like through notes you read like what happened and things like that. Usually, like take Resident Evil for example again. You
Right.
find notes like what happened. There was a outbreak, Umbrella, the mansion, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then here it's just like you see it live happening through cutscenes. There's a lot of cutscenes in this game, by the way.
Yeah,
There's
there
too
are.
many.
I mean, the good thing is that they're very easy to skip.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them. There is an
Yeah.
absolute lot of them. There's a lot of, and which is, this the worst part is that there's so many cutscenes and they all have voice acting, and the voice acting is real bad, and they just keep going sometimes. Hey, you gotta go here, you go there, cutscene. Oh well, now you gotta go here, you go there, cutscene. And there's like so much, and there's like
Yeah, that's like the second half of the game is like a lot of fetch quest cutscenes.
Oh, the second half of the game is so dumb.
yeah.
Oh man, I can't even get into that yet.
Yeah, I want to talk about the main difference, mechanic type thing they added in this game that, to, I guess, separate it from Resident Evil, is that because the game takes place underwater and you're in, underwater facility, you need to watch your oxygen, and there, as you go throughout the doors and the rooms, some areas have less or more oxygen than others. You have an air system that goes down as you walk around, which you can refill at different stations. And it's an interesting idea. I like that idea of it because, you would think, okay, well, I'm going to put me in a little more panic.
Yeah.
I have to worry about suffocating while I'm down here. In that type of, the idea of that is a good idea because you're like, okay, well, it's a survival horror, and you have to manage your oxygen level. I will say though that this idea becomes...
They were very forgiving.
Extremely forgiving. It becomes almost like you don't care about it very, very quickly.
Plus, if like the room is out of oxygen, like in the negative, and then you have this regulator that you put on so you can just breathe like that you would breathe. There's also like rooms that are just like completely underwater, which is really cool, and you use the regulator to breathe. But that runs out way faster than the timer. But usually in those rooms, it's only one room, so all you have to do is just exit the door, and then you're fine. Yeah, which. Simple.
Yeah, and because each room has its own oxygen level, you're never really in that much danger. Like, it only really affected me early on in the game before you get the regulator, but once you get the regulator, man, it's a lot. Like, you say it runs down slowly, but it's a long bar. Like, you can survive for a while.
Yes. It doesn't really become a factor, really.
No.
It just is there. And again, I like the idea of it. I think it could have been implemented more to actually make it, to make it seem more of a tense thing that you had to worry about. Because if you don't have to worry about it, what's the point? It's not scary anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then in the beginning, I was like worried. I was like, "Oh, I'm probably gonna come into like areas where like I have to last a long while. I have to rush through." But it was like, it just got easier and easier.
Yeah.
So once I learned that I really have a lot of time on my hands, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of not having to worry, I mean, this game gives you infinite fucking first aid kits and infinite ammo.
Yeah. Air grenades, which you can use air grenades to throw down and get extra air. They give you those up the ass. They give you everything. They just give you in abundance, and you don't have to worry about shit, which is a thing that like they definitely didn't do well because with Resident Evil, ammo is scarce. You have to be careful with your shooting, with what you decide to kill. With this game though, you can just go blasting everything. It doesn't fucking matter. You have infinite ammo, which just takes away from the survival horror aspect or any sort of being scared or tense or anything like that. It just takes away from it completely.
But on the plus side, the actual mechanics, the fighting mechanics, is a step up from like classic Resident Evil.
Yeah,
because
you can move while
you can move while shooting and reloading, and you can backstep while like shooting or reloading too.
Yeah, and you once you draw the weapon, it's drawn. Like you only have to press one button to shoot. You don't have to aim.
Yeah. And it has like an auto aim kind of too.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, but the aiming sucks.
Yeah.
Well, turning around to aim sucks. Yeah. Unless if you have the shotgun, then it just hits everything in the room.
That shotgun. I mean, once I got that thing, I didn't look back.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that type of mechanic, it works better than Resident Evil, and I'm gonna say like I feel like that's the only thing where I would give this game an edge over Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
Is that?
Well, I guess the one other thing is that like the menu system, like it comes up very fast. Like you can use it very quickly, but like it's such a small thing that like it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 1 came out in 1997 or 96?
6.
I can't remember. 6. Okay, so it did have like a 2-year like this year and try to like improve things on it. I mean, they obviously took a lot of Resident Evil 1 formula.
Yeah.
And like tried to play with it. So.
Also, for reference, the first Legacy of Kain came out in 96 too, so fuck this game.
No excuse for having shit voice acting.
Yeah.
At least it had a map.
True. Well, you're talking about the second Legacy of Kain. I'm talking about the first one, Blood Omen.
Okay.
We played Soul Reaver.
Oh, okay.
It's a different game.
So yeah, I mean, what the fuck was I just gonna mention too? Get the air. You got the map, the combat. Oh, here we go. This is what I was talking. The big table itself. The big table. This is another thing that I would give Resident Evil a way more. Just give a million more points in this game. Here is that the big table, while in a unique idea of being underwater, is a very boring area to me. I thought it was just a really boring area to explore.
Yeah, the facility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like corridors?
Right. Because compared to the mansion in Resident Evil, the Resident Evil mansion is much more, is way more fun to explore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then
it's also scarier.
Yeah, it's a scarier setting. You know, I know there's people who are fear of
the
water.
Setting, I think like they had a great idea, like being deep under like in the ocean, like completely like really isolated. Plus the fact that all sorts of like fish creatures, they could have taken advantage of that, but they didn't, unfortunately, in this game. Like it can be a very terrifying scenario.
Could have been.
Yeah, that's the thing. They just with the oxygen thing, and they didn't really use any sea creatures, and it's just a big, huge missed opportunity.
And there's like this area, the CCD area, which is like the hub where like everything's safe there for the most part until later on. But you don't have that safe space in like a Resident Evil unless you're talking about like a typewriter room or something. Yeah, but you don't have that. So anytime you want, you can go back to that CCD area and like get all your first aid kits back and all your ammo back, and and not have to deal with anything.
And I'll say Resident Evil, in terms of level design, I mean, you can't help but just keep bringing up Resident Evil because I mean, the comparison. But like in terms of level design, it's just so much better. Where the game in Resident Evil kind of wants you to take a certain path and where items are and what doors are locked and the progression of how you get through the mansion is just very, very good. It's just really good level design and game design. But this game doesn't really have that.
Yeah, they do the backtracking aspect and the puzzle aspect like way better. In this one, it's just like this one is like interconnected, like the table has like multiple areas that's connected to, and they're all like interconnected together, but they're very linear. So like in order to get to one area, you have to go through these 3 corridors, and then you're in that area, and then to go to the next area, like another 3 corridors, and then that area kind of thing. It's very straightforward.
That and the first half of the game, the disc 1, it's completely linear, but like the second half of the game, that's when you start going around back and forth.
Yeah, it opens up and you backtrack and go around all these different areas.
And which, I mean, it's a dumb... it's a dumb fetch quest, though. Like, even though it's opened up, it's pretty shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and the puzzles aren't as interesting either. They're just...
There are puzzles in this game?
Well, I mean... You have to figure out like passcodes and things like that, and like some certain things to do. But the game always, like through the cutscenes, they tell you like, okay, go here and do this. Okay, go here and do this. It's not really puzzle.
There's like one time you had to like enter in a passcode, and it was just on the card that you just picked up.
Exactly. That happens like twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's just, I guess it really, if anything, the puzzle is bring this item here, and then. And another thing, you know what pisses me off? That when you have a fucking key, you have to press start, open your inventory, and hit use key. You can't just walk up to it and says, "Do you want to use the key on this door?" And like yes or no, like in Resident Evil.
Gotta love those quick menus, bro. So fast.
Well, thank God the menus are fast.
They saved the game.
And I want to talk about enemy design as well, which I mean Noah kind of already mentioned this. Like I feel like there was also a missed opportunity there because because when you think of like the things that are underwater, deep in the water, are like there's some terrifying shit down there. There's stuff we don't even know about, Yeah,
they could have like mixed it up with like different fish or like octopi or squids or like anything like crustaceans.
It was all humans, kind of.
It's all humans, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, rats and dogs and a cow.
Oh yeah.
Well, those were cool. The cow was fucking what the fuck.
The cow was so fucking weird.
They should have done more of that, but like, they had like a whole farm, like sea farm section. That could have been like the main thing where like all the sea creatures just broke out. That would have been way more interesting and like, what the fuck.
Fucking transform that goddamn dolphin. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Kill him.
A crazy like deranged dolphin, and like.
And that would be even more terrifying because like especially like underwater sections, there's only like a couple of underwater rooms where you encounter enemies, and there's just the generic.
Oh my god, those fucking fish! What was going on with that?
That was very dumb.
Fucking fish, yeah.
In the big gym,
in the big gym, it was just like, it was so pointless. They just kept hitting you, and I'm like, how the hell can the fish fucking even, first of all, stop this big-ass fucking metal suit walking on the ocean floor, and these fish are just, like, nibbling at it, and he's like, ugh, ugh.
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
stopping.
why are the fish attacking you?
Yeah,
that makes no
regular
sense.
fish. But yeah, like like those kind of sections with actual mutated fish would have been like fucking terrifying, and like if the way they would be presented is like they get through the cracks that were made from like when the big ship got hit with the missiles or the torpedo. Spoiler, sorry. And like the created crack which caused the flooding in those rooms. That would have been like. Those would have been like the real tense moments where you fucking have to come across like all these different sea creatures that are like constantly coming into the room or something, and you have to and fighting them along with the timer with the oxygen would have been like a perfect match. They just dropped the ball so hard, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of like the enemy design that we got. Like, I don't like it that much. I think it's okay, but I do like that there's different types of enemies, like enemies that hang on walls.
They
you know,
do,
like,
yes. And they
like
actually
four-legged
do
enemies.
Yeah, they have like the lizard ones that cling to the walls, the weird spider ones with the huge abdomen, whatever the fuck it was. They had the frogs. Yeah, they actually did have a big variety. It's just the disappointment that they're just humanoid mutations. It's just
Yeah, my biggest problem with it was like there was like no unified idea of what these things were supposed to be transforming into. Like at some point, there's just like some green bugs going around. I'm like, what are these? Are these supposed to be humans transformed? Like
they look like Cell from Dragon Ball Z. Almost.
Exactly. Like I didn't get like why some things were transforming differently than others. Why they looked so differently. It was just like a weird mismatch.
Yeah, because if it was one, if it was one like virus that was going around, shouldn't the virus, look the same?
It was a parasite, yeah.
Parasite, whatever.
Yeah, because like in Resident Evil, you have fucking zombie dogs. So yeah, you get that. That's a dog that got fucking bit by a zombie. It's obvious. You have a zombie, a regular zombie, and then you have later on you have like lickers or whatever. But those are different things.
Yeah. Never got the spiders, but yeah. And then there's just they got the last boss that becomes like this giant fucking blob, and then it becomes like this perfect figured fairy.
Oh my god. That fucking final boss is so weird. Like the woman, she just decides to transform.
Yeah, like she had complete control over the parasite for some reason or something.
I don't get it.
Odd. And then John, the only person who doesn't get affected by it, and I think the game is trying to be like, well, he had a cold, so that it couldn't go in him because he had a cold.
Yeah, that's what they said.
That's the excuse they gave it. Like he was the only one that actually had a cold, and the parasite ignores like the body cells if it's already infected with something else.
Well, there's another guy I think this happens to too. Danny.
Danny, yeah, he was sick too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Danny gets it, but then he just gets killed. So.
Right.
Oh.
My big thing with that cold explanation was that they were showing like his cells because she takes a blood test of him at some point in the game, and they were showing like, oh, he has the virus, but it can't get into his cells. So does that mean he's a carrier? When he gets to the service, everyone's gonna fucking die anyway?
Yep.
Like if the army knows anything about what's going on, and they should, because Clancy called in the Navy SEALs, so they should know what the fuck is going on.
They absolutely should.
He should be shot on sight.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we don't know what happens afterwards when he gets out.
I was hoping. I was watching because in the final cutscene you see like a close up of his face. I was hoping he was gonna get shot, but
he just gets out of the door. He's like, "Oh, free air!" Bang, dead.
If this was real life, the military would have fucking bombed the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Well, do you think they would have waited to see some evidence, or they would have just been like, "No, we bombing this thing"?
I don't know. I mean, if they heard any of the reports that were going on there, I feel like one Navy SEAL team, if they lost a Navy SEAL team, that place would have been done.
Yeah. I gotta say, this game just, made me hate monkeys even more.
Yep.
Wow.
More of a reason to hate monkeys.
Besides the Donkey Kong family, we love them.
Oh, well, Donkey Kong's an ape, so.
Well, we love Diddy and Dixie Kong too, but
Sure.
We love the whole Donkey Kong. We love the Kongs. But this fucking chimpanzee, he's a piece of shit. What the hell was his name?
Anthony.
I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. I hate the monkey. I hate his stupid relationship with that woman, and I hate her reasoning for. It's so dumb. She's so dumb. I hate her.
Yeah, she was.
Every character in this game is dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, she takes the cake.
Anna is the worst fucking character in this game. She sucks. Yeah, man. I mean,
really? I thought it was fucking Sharon. Sharon sucked.
Sharon, yeah. Oh god.
I like
Sharon.
Mookie.
Is that the girl that like has a crush on you?
Yes.
Yeah.
God, what a weird thing too. Her after she died, she dies so stupidly. And
well, a lot of the deaths are very stupid. But
yeah. Oh man. We were laughing.
Mookie.
Mookie was.
Mookie, he's probably the coolest character.
Yeah, he was. I liked him the best, but he's the first one that dies. I'm so angry.
It was a really funny cutscene when he died, though.
Yeah. It was really funny. The funniest one was the general when he was.
Oh yeah, the general
he's
when he's trying to escape
the fucking
sub,
and there's a creature behind him, and it just makes this like he starts getting like stabbed, but it just makes this like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they show him getting stabbed like 4 or 5 times just to show you how.
That was like 20 or 30.
It was so silly. Just the sound effect of the little.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it just silly. I was like laughing at it.
I was laughing at like almost every cutscene in this game. It was so bad. It was amazing.
God.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing I was alluding to earlier, where. Like, I don't know if I played this game earlier on, if I would have been scared by anything here.
I don't think I would be scared, but like I would have like I would be in the same boat where I was like how I would feel as if I played Resident Evil. I'd be like, oh, okay, this is a cool like Resident Evil clone kind of thing. I'd be like, okay. I wouldn't think it's amazing, but like back then I'll be a lot more forgiven for that kind of stuff.
I still feel like Resident Evil is scarier.
Oh no, yeah, 100%.
Like even in the cutscenes, like
100%.
Yes.
Especially that first cutscene.
I got fucking traumatized by one of the cutscenes in Resident Evil 1.
When you first meet the zombie in Resident Evil 1, there's a reason why that is like one of the like that's still to this day is like scariest shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, just the whole thing, the setup, the reveal, the way the zombie turns his head. That's scary shit.
That's where I got traumatized. I walked in on that when my brother was playing that segment. I was like, "Fuck!"
Yeah, that's scary shit. Especially because Resident Evil, like, if you go into it not knowing what to expect, I mean,
it's not like with Resident Evil. It's not like 100% clear what is happening. You just get like in the opening intro, you're just being chased by something you don't know, and then you first encounter that. It's just like
it doesn't show the dogs. You don't know. What's going on? I think in the GameCube one, the remake, they show the dogs.
I mean, actually, they shine like the mouths, just growling and shit. They don't actually see him like tearing apart the guy, but
yeah,
they make you assume that that's happening.
You know something bad's happening, you don't know exactly what it is. But then when you see a human bent over somebody and then have his head turn like that and look right at you, like that, that's good. That's good. That's what horror is. You know, that's a good setup, a good reveal. You know, and then all of a sudden he's after you. You're terrified.
Yeah. In this game, you see someone's nails grow and like his animation, just the skin like just burst, like tentacles burst out of skin, and they're just like bleh.
Yeah, and it's just not as scary. I don't know. In the animations, the character animations are so bad during the cutscenes. Just the way they walk and turn and like move. It's like holy shit, man. Like
I want someone to explain. Like, what the fuck is going on with John's face in those cutscenes? Like, he just looks like a baby's head is attached to a human body, like a grown man's body. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And then you go from these CG cutscenes to like the in-game graphics, and it's just like this. Everybody's like so like these blocky. I mean, I know that's what it was at the time, but it's just so funny.
Yeah, they've aged pretty fucking poorly.
Yeah, they did. But 3D graphics from that time just aged poorly in general, for the most part. Depends. Some of them, near the end of that era, I think they were getting better. Like, if you look at, like, Banjo-Kazooie or Donkey Kong 60, I guess if you look at any Rare game, they did a pretty good job. like Conker's Bad Fur Day, it has. I wouldn't say that game aged poorly in terms of its looks. You know.
Yeah.
After I play it.
It holds up pretty decently, you know, for that era. I mean, N64 was better than the Saturn. I just gotta say, 3D graphics wise, Saturn is a weird console to me. It feels like I don't know. You know, I know about like Nights into Dreams, right? And I know about, you know, Panzer
and Deep Fear.
Now I know about Deep Fear. Yeah. But like, it's just such a weird console. It seems like someone tapped, but like, you don't. I feel like you don't hear people talking about outside of Panzer and like Nights. You don't hear people talking about things. You wonder yourself why. But I feel like now that I played Deep Fear, now I know why. Because
well, I mean, Sega like the game.
Yeah. Go on.
The console was just dead so fast. Like
like,
so
Sega
few people bought it.
Yeah, Sega did not try to like promote it or like support it even that much.
Yeah, they didn't. They gave up on it very fast.
Was there even a good Sonic game on this console?
No, there wasn't. There was one in development called, I think, Sonic Extreme. They eventually released Sonic Jam, which had Sonic 1, 2, and 3 on it. And it had like a 3D hub where you could explore and walk around. But there was no main actual Sonic game on this console at all.
Strange.
Yep. I know, it is. That's
probably just went straight to the Dreamcast or something.
Yeah, probably.
Sonic Extreme got canceled. It looked, if you look it up, there is like footage of what it was going to look like. It looked crazy. It looked insane. Like, it was just weird. It was like these 3D. I feel like you have to watch it. I don't even feel like explaining it. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but the Saturn, I mean, they fucked up so bad because it was just like they fucking just launched it. They were like E3. They were like, hey, it's out today. People and like retailers were pissed because they were like, "Are you kidding me? It's out today? Like we don't have any time to prepare for this, you know?" They're like, "No, it's out today. Put it on the shelves." And like some retailers just said, "No, we're not going to do that. Fuck you." Like they didn't straight up didn't sell it. I mean, the launch was a mess, and just they just gave up on it. They fucked up real quick, and then they just kind of gave up, moved on, which was a lot of what Sega was doing at the time. They tried it with the 32X, the Sega CD, you know, to keep the Genesis alive, like all these things that they were doing. They would do things and give up on them very fast. And that was Sega. Sega, rest in peace. I mean, I know they're still around, but as a console manufacturer. And this was made by Sega. You know, them trying to make a Resident Evil game, but
I mean, you can definitely see the effort they put into this. Like, they tried really hard to make this like serious with the like.
They did try hard to make it serious.
Yeah, but it just.
But it didn't work, at least to me. Yeah, I mean, it just like even fighting like the boss fights or you know like the monsters, like they just get stuck in certain places in the world.
Yeah, I know.
Like they just don't move at you, and like it feels unpolished. Like the cow monster that I was talking about before, he would just get stuck on nothing, like in a corner, and just wouldn't move.
Yeah,
and like the first phase of the last boss, the same thing. Like she wouldn't
do anything. It didn't even move. I just stood far enough away from it. I just kept shooting it, and then I get to a point where I was like, "Am I hitting this thing?" And then the cutscene started. I was like, "Okay, I guess I was." You know, it didn't. And for the final boss to just sit there and just continue to take bullets and not even move, it was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
Well, the first part. The second part was annoying.
Second part was the closest I came to dying. I didn't even die once, by the way. It was the closest I came to dying in the game was the final boss. Like, it moved really fast, and I had to heal like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't scared because I had a fucking shitload of healing items on me.
Infinite healing items.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna die unless I am like cutting it too close with healing myself, which I almost did. But then I was like, uh-oh. Luckily, you can just press start, open up your menu, which pauses the entire game to heal you. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, any type of deep fear, more like deep no fear.
Ouch. Just end it right there.
All those healing items and bullets.
Exactly. There's no fear to be had in Deep Fear. The only fear that is to be had is the fucking voice acting.
True.
Also, we have to mention Du Bois. Or Dubois.
The worst?
Dubois. The worst voice actor in the game. What was he doing?
I don't know.
It was borderline offensive.
It was, it was. It was so fucking bad. I don't get it. Like, it had to be somebody else just putting on a weird fucking...
I'm convinced it was one person that did 5 different voices, and that was... he ran out of voices, he was like,
don't know if that's true, but, I mean, there is no way that whoever was doing his voice was doing this, like, in any terms of seriousness, you know? Because it was just so hokey, and, like, it was so bad.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many examples of bad voice acting. Like, the scene where Danny gets killed by, transformed Anna or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's just like, he has this thing, like, basically inside him, or, like, he's been stabbed, but, like, he's talking like he's completely fine. Like, his voice shows no indication of terror at all. It's, oh, man, it's so bad.
It's like, I mean, you get that a lot. But, like, going back to, like, all the deaths that happen are stupid. Spoiler alert, everybody dies but John. So you get like 8 or 9 different cutscenes with each individual character that you bonded, quote unquote, bonded with, and like interacted with in the story. And they all, like, at least half of them have the dumbest fucking deaths. Like, literally, they could have been avoided or like stopped, or like John could have helped but just left them to die.
Well, here's the thing, like, they all die, and the whole second half of the game is about trying to rescue them, so you do nothing.
Right.
It's worthless. Yeah. It's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah. And it just steamrolls. Like, it's like one after another. This guy, this person dies, this person dies, this person dies, this person dies. And you're just like, okay, well, everybody's fucking dead.
Like, you would have been way better off if you just would have left as soon as the fucking the general dude said, "Oh, let's leave."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Like,
who deserved to live if you had to pick one person on that ship?
I'd say Mookie.
Danny.
Or Danny, yeah.
Yeah, probably Danny. Danny's...
Or at least Rambo lived.
Yeah. Actually, as the only survivor.
Rambo survived the pit bull.
I don't know how the fuck he got into that pod.
Well, yeah.
I don't get it.
He followed him because John fed him. He fed him the hamburger, remember?
Yeah, but where was he during the boss fight then?
I have no fucking idea.
And when the fucking, the ship that you're on flipped around, how the fuck? How do you survive that shit?
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
Also, one more thing, when Sharon's death scene where she literally just walks through the door, screams, and then she's dying on the floor, where inside the room where the mutated cow is running around, like, rampaging, it kindly lets you interact with Sharon for, like, a good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And, like, as you're, like, lamenting her death. Just avoid you and just wait.
She just wanted some ice cream, you know?
Yeah.
I can't believe we actually saved that fucking dolphin. That dolphin should have died. Fucking
she didn't save it, you did.
I know. I mean, the game wants you to save it. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Fuck this dolphin.
Wow, you hate dolphins that much?
I hate this dolphin that much.
Oh, okay. But you know
because it has, like, the dumbest fucking cutscenes each time you see him. I'm like, dude, why? Why is this happening?
One of my favorite things in the game was just I posted it in the Patreon Discord, and I was like, among the pictures of dolphins, there's a picture of myself. I just really like that picture. I don't know why. It's so funny to me. Because as you're going through her belongings, she's like doing her work. She has this weird candid picture of John.
It's very stupid.
Yeah, it's so dumb. And her journal's just all about like, hope I get to see John today.
Yeah.
Real dumb. Well, with all of that, any last things you guys want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
Why does Gina look like Stella, John's dead fiance?
Like he mentioned that like twice or 3 times, and then he never mentioned it again. Like he just completely ignored that fact.
That's a funny thing I wanted to mention because I mentioned it to Noah.
Oh yeah.
When you go into Danny's room, you find a picture of Danny's family, and it's like these like realistic pictures of people. But then when you have the picture of your wife, it's like an anime girl.
Yeah. That's true.
And I'm like, why is there such a contrast in art direction there? There's like an anime girl for your wife, and then this Danny's family is just these real life looking people. So funny.
They tried so hard to be so dramatic with these backstories for everybody.
God, the story where when he tells the story is just like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, when he tells Gina about his fiance dying or whatever.
Yeah.
Ugh. And him, and when the head Navy SEAL guy, the captain, dies.
Yeah.
His whole scene. Oh my God, it's like so. It's supposed to be dramatic, and God, it's not. It's not dramatic.
He's like, take my gun.
Take this pistol.
Yeah. I wanted to give it this after you got married. Here, have a gun.
And I didn't even use it. I was like, fuck this.
Actually, it was actually more powerful than the shotgun, but it doesn't have the spread.
It doesn't have the spread.
I used it for boss. I used it against Dubois, and I fucking annihilated him. He didn't even touch me.
Well,
why does she look like his dead fiance though?
Nobody knows. They literally never explained it.
Do I want to know?
I guess they gave it a reason so he would quote unquote fall or want her to survive or fall in love with her at the end.
Yeah, but that's a stupid reason.
It is. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. A lot of stupid reasons.
I want a real reason. What the fuck?
You know what? I actually want to give this game one thing that is good, real quick.
What?
The music is all right. Pretty.
Oh
good,
yeah, the music's actually. Yeah, I did like the music when there was actually a time we had to get out before the whole thing sinks or explodes. Like that was really cool, intense music. I liked it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's got some decent music in it. So there we go. We're gonna end it on something.
The gun fighting mechanics and the music are good. Everything else, oh boy.
All right, well now it's time to take Deep Fear and put it on the list.
The list.
So you can take a look at the list if you want to follow along. It's going to be, there's a link in the description below for a Pastebin link. You can click on that and follow along with the list, where every episode of the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, we take the game that we played and we have to add it on the list and figure out where it goes among the 226 games that are already on there. So it's ever growing. We just continue to add games to it. And now we're going to figure out where Deep Fear goes among the games that are already here. And Noah, since you chose this game, we're going to start with you. What are you thinking?
I'm kind of conflicted. Like, there's so many like bad things, like the voice acting especially, but it's like so bad that I enjoyed the fuck out of it. So like it's hard to see, even though they obviously are negatives, it's hard to like feel like they're negatives, you know what I mean? So like,
well, I mean, they tried to play it straight. Like,
yes,
this wasn't like campy to be funny. Yeah. This was just fucking bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like I'm looking around like the 200 mark, like around Duck Hunt or First Samurai or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would think. I don't know. I don't know if it's better or worse than Crusader No Remorse, but I do think it's worse than Intelligent Cube.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But the thing is, Intelligent Cube is low, I feel.
Yeah, it probably has to go up a little bit.
Yeah. Like, I do think it's worse than Intelligent Cube. I do think it's better than Lucky Luke. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like frustrating to play. It's very easy.
Yeah, it's
very,
like
very easy.
It just feels like a Resident Evil game, just slightly worse. Well, not slightly, but worse. But it feels that's what you're playing. Like I said, like back then, if I played Resident Evil and this game back to back, I would obviously pick Resident Evil over this. But they're very similar experiences.
If you take away everything else that sucks about it.
I mean, gameplay-wise, that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, gameplay-wise, as in the movement and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the tank controls, the camera, the mechanics.
Gameplay-wise, it's not as good because it doesn't have the unique puzzles or the good level design and the exploration.
I said, yeah, and also, obviously Resident Evil's better. I just said similar. Yeah.
And also, I think the Resident Evil we ranked is the updated version.
Yeah, that's the remake. That's just
it's just
everything
better.
That like
it's
Resident Evil was and polished. Yeah,
yeah,
polished the fuck. So should we put it like around Crusader No Remorse then?
What do you think about The Simpsons Arcade?
Yeah, I think The Simpsons Arcade is better too. The Simpsons Arcade is just very short, but it doesn't do anything like super bad about it, you know? It's a very short, very simple video game. I think I'd probably move The Simpsons Arcade up a little bit too. With IQ, I'd probably move both of them up a little bit because I think they're both better than One Finger Death Punch and Metroid Prime Hunters, you know?
Alright, so above Lucky Luke then?
I think above that with the pretense that IQ goes up a little bit and maybe...
No, but I mean, like, that would be below IQ.
Yeah,
already.
Above Lucky Luke. Yeah.
No, what do you want?
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's better than Metroid Prime Hunters?
I think so. Metroid Prime Hunters was...
I hate Metroid Prime Hunters. I think it should be in hell. So, yeah.
I think I definitely like it better than One Finger. The thing is, with One Finger Death Punch, it just got extremely repetitive, and it was just became not being fun anymore.
I think the problem with that is that we're playing it on a time frame. So, like, if you just took your time with that game, you'd probably have much more enjoyment.
Well, I mean, you could say that with a lot of these games on the list, but, like...
I don't think
that's more...
true.
Yeah, no, that's a very good example of one that if you took your time.
Because this it's an iPhone game, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be played in small segments.
Yeah. And honestly, those small segments would be fun. One Finger Death Punch as a concept is a fun concept. You're just not for 4 hours straight, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it's fun for 5 minutes. It's fun for 10 minutes, but it's not fun for 4 straight hours. So,
okay, so
I think One Finger Death Punch is pretty good. So, yeah, I still agree that putting it above Lucky Luke is the best spot.
All right. There we go, then.
So that would put it at number 209 on the list. And surrounding it is, we have 207, The Simpsons Arcade, 208, IQ, Intelligent Cube. 209 is now Deep Fear. 210 is Lucky Luke on Dalton's Trail, or just Lucky Luke, I guess, as is known in America, and Incredible Crisis, which, to say every game that I just mentioned is a Game Club game. So there is an episode where we talk about those games in depth that you can check out on SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. And speaking of that, might as well just roll out into the plugs, because if you want to listen to not only those episodes, but any episode of the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, or any episode of our normal every weekly episodes of the Jump Up Supercast, where we go over game news and discuss all sorts of things in video games. Check us out, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, wherever you want to listen to podcasts. Search us up. You can find us and listen to us. You also can, make sure you follow. My brain is broken now. Make sure you follow, give us a like or a share. You can comment have you played Deep Fear? You know, what do you think of it? Are you interested in playing it? Probably not after what we just said. But
yeah, I can't count the number of times I've said stupid or dumb today.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Tell us what you think of Deep Fear down in the comments, and we'd appreciate that. If there's games that you want us to play specifically, we actually do have a way where you can suggest games to us. We have a Patreon. So if you want to support the podcast, patreon.com/jumpupsupercast, where you can subscribe for just $1 a month, and you get the chance to choose a game for our game club every round. So as we take turns, it goes Noah, me, Ills, and then we do a Patreon pick. So once around, we get to, we take all the Patreon suggestions, we put them on a raffle, and we raffle one of them off. So yeah, man, if you want us to play a specific game, hopefully not a shit one, but if it's a shit one, we'll play it anyway. Let us, give us some support on Patreon. We also have a Discord that you can join, where we talk about, you can talk to us about video games, talk to us about Game Club games, talk to us about whatever. You can also follow us on social media. We have Twitch, we do have a Twitch, but we have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, where you can just all at Jump Up Supercast, where we post when the episodes go live. If you want to keep up to date with everything Jump Up Supercast related. And like I just said, we have twitch.tv/Jump Up Supercast, where we play video games on there. Sometimes the Game Club game we're playing, sometimes just other stuff. Whether it's Fall Guys, Among Us, Super Mario, whatever. We play a lot of video games. So please, if you want to support us, there's a lot of ways to do it. So we appreciate everybody who listens. But before we go, it is my turn to pick the game. And you know what? Something just came out yesterday, and that's what I want to play for 2 weeks. So I'm just going to pick that. And we're going to play Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Jesus Christ.
for this week. Is this game, does it meet requirements? I don't know, actually. For 25 hours or less, it's going to be probably really close. But I was just like, you know what, this is what I want to play. It just came out, and let's keep it topical, because if I pick something else, then I'm going to be distracting myself from just the game that I want to play right now. So fuck it, that's what we're going to play. So we will see you in 2 weeks when we talk about that. And if you play that too, if you're playing it right now, listen to the episode. Let us know what you think. But we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Ills and Noah, for joining me and playing video games. And I want everybody to go out there, be nice, play some video games, and just have fun.